once again at Emprende.us in our fourth episode here, where we're interviewing personalities and people who are really doing cool stuff online in the Hispanic market, or Hispanic business owners who are doing a lot in new media. Let's get straight ahead with the interview. Today I'm interviewing Arturo Nava from logratodream.com. Arturo is a Latino brand marketer, entrepreneur, podcaster, and thought leader. He's the founder and the host of Logra to Dream, and he's a top-ranked. It's a top-ranked podcast on iTunes, which is on a mission to help Latino and Latinas achieve their American dream. He interviews successful Latinos and Latinas, inspired entrepreneurs and leaders who share their story to inspire, mentor, and provide business advice to help Latino and Latinas get closer to their American dream. Arturo is a managing partner and founder also of Marketealo, which is Spanish for Market It, and brand development, strategic marketing, innovation firm that helps companies navigate and win in the Latino and Latina influenced market. Arturo is also a thought leader on Latino brand marketing, entrepreneurship, and success, having been featured on Univision Chicago, wow, among other media outlets and blogs. And he's a contributing blogger to Media Posts Engage Hispanics, Hispanic Retail 360, the Shelby Report Hispanic Force, and Retail Customer Experience blogs. And he's also one of the top Hispanic business bloggers from a blog post that I wrote about Hispanic business bloggers. He was born and raised in Mexico City, and he came to the U.S. in the late 90s to follow the American dream of a better life. His ticket to his new life in the U.S. came when he was accepted to the MBA program at Harvard. And after his MBA, he started TradeFood.com and then went to work for big brands for 12 years in various brand marketing and innovation leadership roles, growing top brands and companies such as Procter Gamble, Molson, Coors, and Google Motorola. And in 2012, he started Marketealo, and in 2014, he started Logra to Dream. Welcome, Arturo.
Thank you very much for inviting me, for the great intro. Very excited to be here today with you to talk about Logra to Dream and anything else, you know.
Yeah, well, perfect. So I wanted to find out a little bit about how you got your start. Tell me a little bit about your backstory, about how you came to the United States and then getting accepted into the Harvard MBA program, because to me that's fascinating.
Yeah, well, I always had a fascination with the U.S. growing up. I grew up in Mexico City in a middle-class family, and my dad used to travel a lot to the U.S. He worked for Honeywell Bull, and one of his business trips to Boston, he brought back and I was a kid. I told him, "Hey, Dad, I want to go to Harvard one day," and he laughed. "Oh, kid, come on, that's very difficult." But at that point, I had set in my mind that I wanted to go to Harvard. So I worked hard. I got into good college, and started working during college. And at that time, I started preparing for my applications because I knew I wanted to expand my horizons. I wanted to come to the U.S. I had my American dream of a better future, and so I prepared a lot for the application. So I applied to a number of business schools, and preparation for that, obviously, not only the academics, but also I got involved with a bunch of leadership organizations and so forth out in Mexico, and I was working, and so I did everything I could to be ready. And I was very fortunate to be accepted to the Harvard Business School. I got rejected from many other schools, but I got accepted to the right one. That was my dream. So actually, that was one of my happiest days in my life, the day I got the acceptance to really the ticket to my new life here.
Arturo, I think those were probably the sweetest rejections you got, because you got accepted by Harvard, but got rejected by other schools that you didn't really even want to go to in the first place.
Yeah, no, totally. Like, I mean, that's my dream. That was really my dream. I couldn't believe it. Like, everything aligned, and I was able to get a scholarship to to attend because I don't come from a wealthy family or anything. So that was it. All played out, and I thank God for that.
Well, fantastic. And so, tell me how you got started in marketing. So, you were freshly graduated from from Harvard and your MBA, and then how did you transition into marketing for some of those big brands after that?
Yeah, so right after business school, I graduated in 1999 at the height of the internet boom. I saw an opportunity to give it a shot and try to develop an online business, a B2B online business. And hey, if I succeeded, yeah, it would be awesome to make a lot of money really early on. I was pretty young. If not, then I had my whole life ahead of me. So I started iTradeFood.com. And so B2B marketplace for international trade of food between Mexico and the U.S. So we raised almost $500,000, put a small team together, and we worked for 2 years. And it didn't really pan out. It wasn't as the success that I hoped for. I think we were ahead of the curve in many ways, but the market wasn't ready for the business, so it didn't really explode, and then the crash came, so we couldn't raise any more money, and so it became a small business, and I learned a lot of lessons there in terms of what it takes to create a business, build a business, and after that experience, I realized I really liked marketing. I really liked the general management aspect of the business, so I went ahead and went to Procter Gamble to get my marketing education. That's where I started working on.
That's quite a difference from running a .com startup company.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that in today's careers, like you got the two worlds of the corporate world, entrepreneurial world. I think both offer a lot of significant value, like in different ways. So the entrepreneurial world is, it's really about, developing those skills of resilience, of making it happen, of looking for a way, of creativity, of building something new. And in the corporate world, they offer a lot of great training. They offer a lot of great systematic training of systems that have worked for many, many years to build brands. And at that point, I knew I needed more experience, and I needed kind of a little more formal training on how to build a brand. So I was being fascinated by building brands, and I decided to go to Procter & Gamble, and obviously the environment wasn't very entrepreneurial, but I learned a lot. So I took the best out of that world. So always like there's gonna be good things and bad things from different worlds, and that's why I decided to go in. And then I went on to Coors Brewing Company. They recruited me there to Coors Light Hispanic. I ended up running Coors Light Hispanic. It's a great experience helping that brand to get repositioned and turning it around for growth. And it was a lot of fun. And then after that, I went to a number of other different corporate roles in brand marketing and innovation until recently, where I started Marketialo. That what we do is we help brands navigate and win in the Latino and the Latin influenced marketplace.
Well, cool. I really want to get into the Latin influence marketplace and what you were doing in Marketialo and Logra Tu Dream. But I first wanted to, I'm intrigued by the processes and systems that Procter & Gamble have in place, and what you were able to take from that. What are some of the I guess the key lessons you learned from working at P&G?
Yeah, I mean, there's, if you would take anything from P&G, it's the brand building framework. That's really what I would think is the most powerful framework I've seen to build a brand, where it really takes you from how to determine who your target market should be or target consumer should be, to assessing the landscape, the competitive landscape, to developing actually your brand, what we call the brand equity or the brand architecture, which is really what the brand should mean in the hearts of minds of the consumers, that's uniquely differentiated, and with which you can win. And so it's a framework that helps you develop that brand in a very impactful, consistent manner, and then being able to really test it out and put it into action in the marketing plan, and so that type of brand discipline really helped me a lot in terms of honing in with any brand assignment that I had, and now with the entrepreneurial ventures that I had, to really develop a brand that's really impactful and that's differentiated. So it's all the secret sauce behind a powerful brand.
That's fantastic. So you took that into your later assignments, like with Coors and Miller, in your targeting of the Hispanic market as well?
Yes, through everything, really throughout my career. That's kind of like my Bible. Obviously, I've evolved it as my experience grew, and I think there's also entrepreneurial framework that I use that's more simple, but it's always the same fundamentals of of the brand. It's the brand equity. It's that has points of difference, points of parity, reasons to believe, and then equities that bring it to life in the mind of the consumer. So it's a simple yet very powerful framework that always works.
And fantastic. It's good to know that there are some things that are formulaic, and it's not all just trial and error. So tell me a little bit about Marketelo and Logra to Dream. What is the connection between them, and what is your because it seems like as though you really emphasize the Hispanic inspired marketplace. So tell me a little bit about what you see as the opportunity out there for Hispanic entrepreneurs and the Hispanic inspired marketplace.
Yeah, so first I'll give you a little background on Marketelo and Logra to Dream. Marketelo is what we do is a strategic marketing, brand development, and innovation firm that we help companies navigate and tap the Latin influence in the Latino market. So what I mean by Latin influence, Latino culture is really permeating America in many, many ways. It's influencing shopping choices from the non-Latinos in America in very significant ways in key categories like in food, in music, in beverage, and in other categories where non-Latinos really enjoy what we have to offer from the cultural perspective. Like
so let me see if I understand quickly. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but it's kind of like here in Texas. I'm in Austin, Texas. Here in Texas, we love tacos and we love Topo Chico carbonated water, and we love hot sauce. Is that kind of what you're referring to?
Yeah, that's part of it. That's part of it. So really, it's what I call the Latin-inspired brands and products, which are products and brands inspired by our culture. So yeah, so those are good examples, but there are many others too that are being increasingly adopted by the mainstream here in America in different ways. So it's not always it's in a way that it's more familiar to them. So what we do at Marketelo is we Latin inspire your brand. So we infuse the Latin inspiration into brands and products to help them succeed not only with the Latino market but also with the non-Latino market, which they love our flavors, they love our diversity, our colors. They love many things about a number of our products and their influence and our brand. So the key is how to leverage that influence into a brand and product that can provide very strong differentiation in the mainstream market and can be a winner with the Latino market too. So it's really about leveraging what we have to offer as a culture and building brands and products around it.
That's fascinating. Can you give me a specific example? I don't know if you have client confidentiality agreements, if you can name specific examples, or maybe more abstract examples to sort of protect the innocent, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I can. I'll tell you what I can, as much as I can. We helped Crown Imports, now Constellation Brands. So they own all the Modelo beer portfolio here in the U.S. So they have Corona, they have Modelo, etc. So we help them develop, first validate, create a strategy, and then develop a Latin-inspired craft beer here in the United States that hasn't launched yet, in partnership with Chef Rick Bayless. So so that's something that hasn't launched yet. So I can't talk anything about the specifics of the brand and the product, but I can tell you that we basically led that initiative, and it was a lot of fun. It was really about infusing the Latin inspiration into a beer, into a brand idea that is going to play in the craft beer market place, which is, as you know, it's a marketplace that's highly general market. It's 80% general market, but but again, the ethnic inspiration, the ethnic influence is something that's very appealing to everybody. So that's I think one of the coolest projects that I worked on.
So what do you have to do to a Latin brand to make it more palatable or appealing to the mainstream market? Do you have to alter anything, water it down a bit, or do you actually focus really on the core essence of the Latinness of the brand? I mean, kind of curious as to how you build that bridge.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a couple of scenarios. One is like, sometimes it's better to create a brand based on the need. So a brand that would fit the needs of your consumer target. So so that's kind of what we did with this company. It's like it's going to be a new brand. Now, for existing brands, already Latin brands out there, what you need to do is take that Latin inspiration and embed it in a brand in a way that's going to be relevant and appealing to the general market. So, for example, I mean, I'm sure you've gone to the Latino supermarkets and you see all these products with the Mexican flag on them, right? I mean, they're everywhere, right? But that doesn't work with the general market. First, because they're not Mexican, right? Second, usually the packaging, the product cues are not very high quality, and the audience that's really into ethnic inspiration is more of a higher end audience in general market. So the Whole Foods crowd that are experimenting with new flavors, with ethnic influences, etc. So you have to make it more premium. You have to make it look more premium. The product has to be more of a higher quality, and the brand needs to be developed such that it taps into the reasons why the general market is going to buy your brand, which is not necessarily because it's Mexican or because it's got a Mexican flag on it. That was just an example.
I mean, that kind of reminds me of what happened to tequila. Tequila is now an upscale liquor, whereas previous to the 80s, in the 60s and the 70s, etc., tequila was considered sort of a working class drink in Mexico, right?
Yes. Yeah, no, tequila is really one of the best examples. You look at Patron. Patron is not even a Mexican brand. Actually, it's it's an American brand, if you will. I mean, they have the tequileria down there in Mexico, but it's it's Paul Michel, the hacker, very successful entrepreneur. He was the founder of Patron. The reason why Patron is so successful is, that's the truth, and many people don't know that. But Patron is successful because, as you said, they develop a much more premium tequila, not only in the product but also in its image. Right, with the very iconic bottle, looks very super premium, and what they did is they developed a brand image that's that's Latino, right? But it gives you enough of a sense that it's a Latino tequila Mexican brand, but without the piece of the Latino-ness that's not aspirational. So it's a very aspirational brand, and it also leaves a lot to the imagination. So it's got this mystique about, hey, what does Patron mean? What why is it it's like, why is it so appealing, right? So they did a fabulous job with that, and it's gone gangbusters for them. So so brands like that, they're going to be very successful with the general market.
Well, fantastic. So let's get into Logra Tu Dream. In a previous blog post, I kind of used Logra Tu Dream, which is your podcast and your website, which is available on iTunes, etc. I used as an example of an entrepreneur building a media-based marketing strategy. And I think that's fascinating because this is sort of like the way entrepreneurs, I think, need to go in terms of building an audience and having kind of like a built-in source of leads for their business. So tell me a little bit about your strategy and also what you're doing with who you're interviewing and what are your goals. What is it you're hoping to inspire in the Latino community?
Yeah, so I'll start with what's Lograr to Dream and the mission. So Lograr to Dream is a podcast. Actually, you can find it on iTunes and Stitcher and at logrartodream.com. And with the mission to help Latinos and Latinas achieve their American dream. And how we do it, I interview successful Latino and what I call Latin Inspired entrepreneurs and leaders who share their stories to inspire, mentor, and provide business advice to all of the Latinos out there and Latinas out there that are in their journey to achieve their American dream. And I have learned through the last 17 years here in the U.S. that there's a number of barriers between Latinos and Latinas and their American dreams. And those barriers are many times a lack of role models, Latino role models that guide and mentor and provide advice to them so that they can progress in their careers or their entrepreneurial journeys. And so I was looking for a way to bridge that gap. At first, I thought it would be a book, but then as I started getting into podcasting, learning more about podcast, I found podcasting to be incredibly powerful to transform the way people think and be a problem and to really help them and give them the education that sometimes we lack. And I myself, I listen to thousands of podcasts and I learned so much about business and the entrepreneurial journey and other topics. So I thought, why not do a podcast that can help Latinos achieve the American dream and tackle these barriers that I saw. So that's how the idea started. And really in terms of the strategy was, first I knew I needed to build a very compelling brand. Being a brand guy, that's the first thing I had to do. So I did a lot of brainstorming and came up with a Spanglish brand, because that's the reality of our people. We live in both worlds, so it has to be a bicultural Spanglish brand. Logra, it's where we come from. It's the kind of what desire we have inside us to achieve, right? That's why we come to this country, to achieve our American dream. But the dream is an American dream. It's because we live in America, and we have American aspirations of a better future, more prosperity, and taking care of our families. So that's how Lograr to Dream came. It was just kind of like a brainstorming and making sure it was rooted in our bicultural reality. Then I knew that to develop a podcast, I mean, first of all, it's not easy. It's a lot of work. It takes a lot of time to develop a really compelling podcast that's successful. So I looked for help first. So I joined a group of podcasters through Fire Nation Elite, which is run by John Lee Dumas. He's probably one of the best entrepreneurial podcasters out there. He's built a $2 million business in around 2 years. Very, very successful guy and very generous guy too. So he's developed this community of entrepreneurs and podcasters, and he's basically helping them how to podcast. And I didn't know the first thing about how to do a podcast, so I joined this community, and I learned everything I needed to know about how to develop a podcast. And of course, the branding I'm very good at that, and I know my target very well, which is the Latino market, people looking to achieve their American dream. So that part I had really locked down very, very clear. And so all I needed was really the technical knowledge of how to do a podcast. So through this, I learned how to do it. So, and then I went ahead and challenged to do it myself, so I could learn different components. So I first started with the website, doing a compelling website that was very visual, that really conveyed the essence of the brand. So I don't know if you want me to get very technical in terms
Yeah,
of
I do.
what
I'm actually taking notes here because I want to do some of the stuff that you suggest.
So you have to get your hosting. You need to find the right framework, right? The right theme to get the right look and feel. So I went ahead and looked at a number of them, and then I needed to have the right design, right, to make it look right. So I have actually a designer who she's very, very talented. Her name is Angelina Villanueva, and if you guys want her information, I can certainly share it with you. And she helped me not only with the logo design, but also with the website design, which I've received many compliments on, that it looks very innovative, and it's very, very attractive brand. Then once I had kind of like a very basic website, I started to build my social media presence going up to the launch. So I started from zero, from scratch, in the Logo After Dream on Twitter. But I really focused on Twitter mostly because it's very easy to, or not very easy, but it's easier for people to grow an audience fast in Twitter, in my opinion. Exactly. Facebook, I don't know if many of your listeners are aware, but now Facebook shows you only a very small percentage of the status updates that you post, and because they want you to pay for everything else, right? So I want to do it very low budget, so I said Twitter is a better way. So I started contacting different influencers and bloggers like you and others to start building relationships and start building my audience base prior to the launch. And while I was doing that, I started to record my interviews. So I carefully picked key entrepreneurs and leaders in our community that would inspire, that would be able to mentor our community in different ways, right? From different fields, from online entrepreneurs to brick and mortar entrepreneurs to authors to speakers to people that are leaders in the community, also to some non-Latinos that have a lot to offer in terms of what they're doing. So I started to record those, and for the recording, it's a very complex process, all the technical pieces of doing the podcast, because you need a special media host that can host a large capacity, really large quantities. Because if you get a very successful podcast, then you need a lot of bandwidth there.
If all of a sudden thousands and thousands of listeners come and listen to your podcast, you don't want the servers to go down, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. So actually, for that piece, I highly recommend Podcasters Paradise. And actually, there's a banner in my website, and in every of my most recent blog post, I have a Podcasters Paradise link that you can click on, and it's a great community that basically you can learn everything you need to learn how to podcast and create it and monetize it and so forth, and it'll save you a lot of time because there's a lot of moving parts. It's a lot of work again, because not only is it recording, then you have to go and edit it, right, to make sure you take out the ums, the ahs, to make sure you have a compelling episode. You have to develop your intro, you have to develop your outro, you have to think about your calls to action to develop kind of whatever is the right response you want from your audience. You need to figure out how to publish it. You need to understand how many episodes you need to start with, what's your right frequency,
right,
to continue to build your audience. You need to be consistent at it, which is very, very important. You need to publish your show notes, and then once you launch, you need to get to a certain number of downloads, and you need very positive reviews so that you can go up in the rankings. And Logo After Dream, actually, from the second day we launched, we got into the new and Noteworthy rankings. So on iTunes, we're still there. We hit top 10 a number of times. Oh no, thank you. No, it was really kind of a result of a lot of hard work, and people like the podcast, and responded very, very well, and so they're listening to it, they're downloading it, they're giving us a lot of positive reviews. So that helped us push up in the rankings. So in careers, in business, in health, in self-help, we've hit the top 10 a number of times during that time period. And so there are ideas, and you only get 8 weeks, by the way. So if you there's an algorithm which nobody knows exactly what's in it in iTunes to hit new and noteworthy, but if you hit it, you have 8 weeks to basically be there, right? And after that, you're not new anymore, so you're dropped off, and and good luck, right? So it's very critical.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So it's very critical to maximize your exposure there, because if you go to iTunes, you look at the new and noteworthy, you're going to be in the top 100 in different categories, right? So right. It gives you a lot of exposure to reach a lot of people that you wouldn't be able to reach otherwise. But it's not easy. It's getting very, very competitive. There's a flood of new podcasts coming up. So what I would say, anybody interested in it, it's really has to be something that your heart's in it. Mm-hmm. Not because you think you're going to develop a business from it, but it's just because it's a good way. It's the right medium to publish the content that you really believe in, that you really want to help people with, and obviously it'll help you build an audience. But one thing that's very true for podcasting is that if you look at all the successful podcasters out there, it's all very authentic people that are really trying to help others, and that they're trying to provide tons of value to their audience before they even start turning into a business. And some of these turn into a business because actually, your audience asks you for different things, and then and then that's how it happens.
I think that's key. I think what you mentioned about just providing a lot of genuine and authentic value is the key. It's really kind of part of the key. It's the killer business strategy for the internet age, and I even mentioned that when you interviewed me for your podcast. So I've got a ton of questions, Arturo. I think this is going to be a really great video for my audience, because you're really hitting a lot of key points that are critical for Latino entrepreneurs in this new media environment in which we live. So tell me a little bit about how you are spreading the word, how you're attracting the audience and getting the word out about Logra tu Dream.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a very simple strategy. Number one is Twitter. So I publish, once I publish every episode, I tweet it out, and I tweet it out not once. I tweet it out a number of times during the day, so that I hit people at different points in the day, because people are not on Twitter all day, right? So if you're not really kind of hitting them throughout the day, you're not going to get people to engage with your tweets. You're not going to get people to share, and nobody's going to see it. So that's one. The other part is like through my guests, which are people that already have their audience too. They share it with their audience, and they engage with the content and so forth, and that helps spread the word to their audiences and so forth. So that's another component of it. I also use Facebook, some Facebook groups that I publish my content on, but very specific targeted groups, not to everybody, and of course on my personal and Logra tu Dream page, and that helps. And then it's just connecting with the right influencers, right? Like we've connected, and I've connected with other influencers, both in the Latino market and the yellow market, who have given me opportunities to have interviews with them. And actually, I was through one of those relationships that just by coincidence, basically I was interviewed then by Univision TV in Chicago, and it aired last weekend. So we were on TV on Univision Chicago, 1 month and a half after launch, which was really fantastic. We had the opportunity to spread our message that way. And I had other interviews that I've done, and they're going to do an article about Logra tu Dream. And it's really because, I think at the heart of it, it's all about our mission, and people are really resonating with what we're doing, and they know it's just something that ultimate purpose, and the way we're going to be successful is by helping people achieve their American dream, and that's why I think it's successful. And and the tactics are, help, right, amplify, but if you don't have the right core and it's not authentic, it's not going to work.
Yeah, I think a lot of people get lost in the mechanics of how to do something, how to use social media, how to put together a podcast, etc., and they lose sight of the fact that, first of all, they've got to have something that people want, and that's unique and that's targeted at a specific audience, exactly like you have.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, what's the end game, Arturo? After you build up this audience, you have a lot of subscribers on iTunes, and I know you have subscribers that are signing up to get your podcast in their email inboxes. What comes next?
No, we want to, ultimately my vision of success is to have this be a community, a platform where people can connect with each other and help each other achieve their American dream, and also to provide the right tools for them to achieve their American dream, whether there's the educational tools or coaching or different types of groups where people can help each other, and I can help people achieve their American dream in different ways. So we're still in the works, still figuring out what exactly that looks like, but that's the vision, and my vision is that this becomes a movement, a platform where it helps a lot of people become more successful, a lot of people achieve their dreams, and really erases the profile of Latinos in the mainstream, so that they can see the success, the creativity, the talent, the hard work ethic that we have in our Latino community, and of course they see the beautiful culture. That's my dream, that if we can have this as spotlight everything that we have to offer, and it's fantastic. And then my other vision is that we are creating a lot of great opportunities, great business opportunities in the United States. Why not us be the main beneficiaries of these opportunities? So I want to empower people to take advantage of all these fantastic business opportunities that are being created because of our presence here, because of our culture. And so that I want to help people figure that out. I've helped companies for many years tap into the Latino market, and so I want to help Latino entrepreneurs do the same.
Yeah, I actually think that there is sort of like a new consciousness developing right now of Latino entrepreneurs, because like you said, and your past is an example of this. The first step was recognizing that there was a Latino market, and then having culturally specific advertising and marketing to market American products into the U.S. Latino market and the broader Latin American market in Latin America. But now I think people are starting to realize, well, Latinos are starting businesses, in fact, at a higher rate than the mainstream market. And Latinos themselves need help to develop their own businesses and to help market their own products. And I think that's one of the things that help inspire me at Emprende.us is let's stop thinking about Latinos as mere consumers of products, and let's think of Latinos as producers.
Of course, and the opportunities are out there. The opportunities that I talked before being generated in this marketplace, in this Latin Inspired Marketplace. You just look at the food and beverage category, just look at music category, entertainment category, in culture, you name it. There are business opportunities that are right there. Who better equipped than us, who know the culture, who have been consuming these products, these categories for all our lives, to create something new that can work not only with our people but also with the mainstream consumer. So what we need there is really more the tools to help us build and grow businesses more effectively. And what I talked before, sometimes we need mentorship so that we know that it's possible. We need guides. We need specific business advice. The other day I was talking to Taide Aburto, and he was telling me all the great work they're doing at the Hispanic Chamber of E-commerce, and how how big is the opportunity to get all these businesses online, right? Yep. And online, I mean,
I interviewed him in an earlier episode.
Yeah, no, he's a great guy, and the opportunity of helping Latino entrepreneurs leverage, just an online presence, social media to build their businesses. That's just like a basic opportunity, but it can help many businesses grow in many ways. So I think that if we're able to empower our Latino entrepreneurial community with the opportunity out there, with the right guidance, I think we can really build a lot of success stories, a lot of new role models, and can then give back to a community. We can build more wealth, and we can have this snowball effect going, and that's my dream.
That's fantastic. I subscribe to that dream. So, Arturo, we've come up to the end of the broadcast. Is there anything that you would like to add? Anything that maybe I should have asked that you'd like to let people know?
Yes, one very important principle, which is when you're building your brand, when you're building your business, don't copy. Be unique and differentiated, and have your brand be an expression of you and your passion, and kind of really the intersection of your unique value proposition and your passion, because that's the way that's going to be successful. And I just say that because, like, I look at, just for example, podcasting. In the last years, there's been like a number of podcasters coming up, entrepreneurial podcasters, many of them copying other podcasters, and guess what? Many of them are going away because they're not having a unique value proposition and then their brand and what they offer, so they're not succeeding. So, and that's just a category, but in general, across any new business, I think that the creativity, the uniqueness, and differentiation you put into your brand and your business is going to be critical to succeed. And then I would love to ask everybody just to subscribe and listen to Lograr Your Dream at lograryourdream.com/iTunes if you have an Apple device, or lograryourdream.com/Stitcher if you have an Android device. And let us know if you like us. Would love your review.
Yeah, perfect. I think that everybody should definitely check out Lograr Your Dream. It's really a fantastic podcast, and you've really interviewed some fantastic people. I wanted to, however, play a little bit of devil's advocate on something you said about being unique. I agree with being unique, but there was another. I read something by a marketer recently that talked about, how to choose a niche, and the marketer was saying that, if you want to go into a completely new field. Or do you want to go into a field where there's lots of competition? And he used the example of pizza places. There's 1,000 pizza places in your own town, but they're always successful because that's what people want. Whereas if you were to go in and offer food that's very rare and nobody's ever had before, that could fail. What can you say about sort of like balancing uniqueness versus what's kind of tried and true?
Yeah, well, I think the category needs to be a category where it's a proven category, right? Where there's business opportunity. So, like you said, pizza. Well, everybody loves pizza, so that's a validated category. But if you come out with a Me Too pizza joint, that's not differentiated from the rest, then chances are you're not going to be very successful. Now, if you come up with a very innovative pizza and proposition that feels a niche within the pizza market, odds are you're going to be very successful if there's a need for it. So your brand's going to be very, very differentiated, very unique, but play in categories where there's proven business opportunity. So that's how I would look at it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. That's and actually I just thought of a unique pizza example that I wanted to give you. In my neighborhood here, we're Texas, we're not right next to Louisiana. there is a Cajun pizza place, and it is actually very popular. So, and it's very different from every other pizza place out there. Arturo, thank you so much for your time. I know it's Sunday, and you'd like to spend some time with the family, but you took your time to talk with us here at Emprende.us. I look forward to seeing more of your, or listening to more of your podcasts, and I encourage everybody in the audience to check you out. And we will be connecting with you on an ongoing basis.
Yeah, no, thank you. Well, thank you very much, Fernando, for the opportunity. I look forward to connecting. If anybody wants to connect directly, you can reach out at arturo@logratodream.com or at logratodream.com. I'm there. Happy to chat. Happy to help.
And what's your Twitter account?
It's at logratodream. It's all logratodream, so it's at logratodream, and also on Facebook it's logratodream page.
Very simple and straightforward. Okay. Hasta luego.
No, muchas gracias.
Okay.